right. First one is a discussion and possible action to approve the meeting minutes from August 22nd, 2023, regular meeting.
So moved.
So moved by Terry,
I'll second it.
second by Bruce. Okay. Any discussion? No discussion. Call for the vote.
Lamar,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Miller.
Yes. Okay. Any petitions from the audience? None? Okay. Buddy, it's all you, man.
All right, it'll be kind of short and sweet.
Yeah.
Now, if there's anything, we've got basically finished up with our painting all of our crosswalks and stop bars and everything around town. There were some that we had to go back and do. We had so much traffic and stuff.
Yeah.
Had to do those. I sent Jenny, I don't remember, I can't pronounce her last name, yeah, that way. But anyway, so they can use, because it was a 40-gallon of paint. It took about 10 days, 80 hours, whatever, to get all the Main Street done, so they can use that. I turned that into her. We have run the sweeper. We've done that. We've been doing some dig outs and pours. We're set up for, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday this week to pour all down. We got one on 14th, one on 13th Court, and then we got one tomorrow morning out there on South Taylor that we're going to do. We done some asphalt repair. We had some holes and some mud dig outs. We went and dug them out, went and got some asphalt, put in them. So those are fixed. Haven't heard anything about the trucks. I tried to call that one guy. I think he's upset because of what I told him last time, but haven't heard anything from him. Let's see, the trailer park for this first contractor, all they got left up there besides cleanup is that they're pouring those concrete plumes going across the roads.
Oh, okay.
I think they got 3 of them. They're going to dig them all out, set them up, pour them all in one day, get that done. And also I talked with the mayor. We was going to try to put some of that, use that money out there off of old 20 going through, but I talked to the mayor, and what I'd like to see is the Northwest 5th and 69. Talked to them. They finally measured it up today. I was there when they was out and measured it up. They're supposed to get us a price. I know they've already taken their equipment and moved on, but they're at another job, but they're still here working.
Okay.
And he said that there would not be a charge to bring any type of equipment back for this.
And what's that job? To do what with that
Just overlay it.
5th and 69?
Yeah, well, that first part, they're gonna have to bring a skid steer in with the miller, because there's not that much there, and they said it would probably be easier and faster with a milling machine. They're just gonna go up through there and knock all that down where it's concrete, and then overlay back. They'll probably come back 50, 60 foot. They're not gonna mill all that down. They're gonna come back and do a cross section through there, so when they lay their asphalt, it'll come back and just down to nothing in, so you're not with a hump there all the time.
Is that between the trailer park and the railroad track, or the railroad track and the Highway 69?
No, this is between the track and trailer park. Okay. No.
69.
69.
Just that little short stretch there.
Yeah, that little short stretch. Cause and actually most of that road is good. It's just, there's about 30 feet right there as you come off of it.
Yep.
Okay.
It just keeps breaking down.
Yep.
And then also out through there, we're starting to get some cracking which is, it's not a big deal, but, on the northeast Graham, where they done Gaither through there, we got that bridge that comes out, and it's got a hump about that tall on the west side. So when you come off of that, you're hitting it. And what it's doing is, it's pushing so much down right now that the cars are coming down and they're putting that extra weight. So we've actually got some cracks in there now. And what I tried to talk them into doing is coming back and milling so far back and then coming down smooth to that. But what I told them, if all possible, I'd just like to overlay the whole thing, just cover it.
Oh.
That way there, so we'll get that extra 2.5, 3 inches, how much we're gonna put down on there, for that part. Cause that being it's a few years old, but, with that overlay on top of it, it ought to help it. Then that'll fix that. Cause one of these days we're gonna have to go back out and redo that road, cause it's starting to get pretty rough. Man, when's the last time we come out there and overlaid that? Was you out there?
No.
So it's been been a while then. I'd have to go back and look at records, but it's not chunking and falling apart, but what it's doing, like when you throw salt down on the sidewalk, how that breaks up, well, that's what this asphalt is. It's losing its elasticity, I guess is what the word
Yep.
is. So you're getting little pieces and stuff. So, but I mean, it's still good. We got some stuff that we need to fix. We've got all the ditches and everything out there flowing. But if we fix that part, then that whole area will be done. I'm trying to get it where we're not leaving little pieces here and there
Yeah.
all over. Let's see, what else is going? We're still working with the Trails Alliance. We've got, helping them put up some of their, trail signs down through there. We're trying to do like 3 a 4 a week, something like that. And then Jenny called me today, and they've got a couple of, welcome to Pryor signs that I'm gonna put up for. One east and west, and, I was trying to think if we got one north and south. I'd have to, can't remember if we did it. I know we got one east and west. She got 2 of them, so I'm gonna go ahead and put them up for her. And, cause the signs that we did have out there, I mean, those signs are,
They're faded bad.
yeah, well, I was kinda hoping I was gonna get a summer help or somebody to go out there with a kid that's good with a rattle can. I was gonna have him paint Pryor and put some
Oh,
stuff on it. So, we had some of them when we was doing, community service or whatever. We had some come in, and there were some of them, I mean, those guys, I mean, I'd charge $100 an hour if I could paint like they could with this cans. I mean, that'd be, but other than that, that's, I mean, besides a few odds and ends and things, we're probably gonna have one more mowing. We're kinda letting everything kinda grow up, and then, cause the weather's getting warm again, so if it'll get back down and stay down through, I think that grass will quit.
Yep.
But we got one more of them.
Speaking of that, I've had a couple of complaints from people down in Ward 4 about the high grass and weeds there in the ditch just to the north of Lincoln School. Is that the city's to take care
Well,
of?
that's actually the people's property.
oh,
That's what I said.
Everybody else down through there takes care of all the ditch except for them one. We've gone down there and knocked it down before. I mean, we weeded it and
Right.
sprayed it and stuff and killed it all out. And we told them, if you'll just go out and spray it every now and then, it'll keep it down.
Well,
But I mean, no, actually the ditch is the people's, it's their property to maintain. So. But other than that, that's about all we got going
super.
at the time.
All right. Okay, discussion and possible action relating to the drainage issue in the area of 904 Southeast Second Street. I'm not familiar with that one.
that's Miss
Oh,
Sally's.
That's Sally's. Oh,
It's Sally's house.
oh, I thought she was fourth. It's second, isn't it? Gotcha.
What do you wanna know about it?
Uh,
I wish y'all would come down and either got Bobby or I before y'all went down there, or whoever went down. We put that in and taken it out 3 times. I don't know what else I can do for her. When Dawn was still alive, we went down there, put a pipe in, dipped the ditch. Didn't like it, so we took it out, come back, put the ditch, all that stuff back in, put the gravel, leveled everything off. Well, and she was having water problems again, which we told her, well, that's why we put the pipe and the ditch in. You're still gonna get water going into your house, cause anything that falls on the other side of the ditch, the south side of the ditch is still gonna go to their house. And she was explaining to me that last time that, when they first bought the house or moved in, there was, on the side of the house, you can see where the blocks are, they used to be 2 blocks high out of the ground. Well, now the house is about a half a block is all you can see.
It's sunk?
The house is settled, is what's going on. But, cause what the problem was, to the east of them, there was, I mean, the road and everything's coming down. The water would follow what little ditch there was on this other side, but I mean, it'd run down the street, but then it'd come off in a ditch. Well, it'd build up and it'd go in that little alley, and then it'd run down by our house. Well, the only way to solve that problem was to dip the ditch up there, put a pipe in, so that water would funnel off into there.
Sure.
We've gone on the other side, and she said that, well, there's that ditch on the other side is so full of water that it runs over into the house. So we went through there and cleaned the ditch out. There was an old pipe there, we took it out. We bent over backwards trying to do everything that we can.
Sure.
And the last time I talked to her, she called up there and she was mad because she didn't have any parking. I told her wasn't nothing else I could do. I said, you could either have the the pipe in the ditch, or you can have parking. And she said, well, this last time we went down there, she said, just whatever you can do to keep the water coming into the house.
Right.
So all the sandbags are sitting up there, because she said she doesn't use the garage anymore. The sandbags that sits up there by the garage, we brought them down for her to put up there to keep the water from going out. We explained to her what she could do to help keep the water out and everything, but, and she called here a while back and was complaining because she had visitors over, and she was parked in the alley. Well, utilities had to get down there to do something to that pole. Well, then she got mad because utilities told her she needed to move her vehicle so they can, or her company's vehicle, so they could get down there. It just happened to be that day. But I mean, there's nothing wrong with parking back, because it's not a through alley, it's just, you know, down so far. But I told her, I said, well, I put it to her, this is what I just told her. I said, you need to make up your mind, if you want to keep the water from away from the house like this is what's gonna have to happen. If you'd rather have your parking, we will come back out, we'll pull the pipe out, fill all this back in like it was, but I said, don't call no more, because there's nothing else I can do for you.
Sure.
That's what I said. So,
You can tell the house is sunk. I went out there and looked at it, and if you have big rain, she gonna get wet. I don't know
Well-
if you put her pipes in.
yeah, I mean, the thing is, it's a natural water flow where it comes down that alley, and you can see it goes right behind her house and comes back in. And we tried to explain to her, you know, what could be done, you know, told her to have her son or have somebody come up and pour a little head wall right there in front of that garage, or cut it out and put a little, metal top on it where that water would go through and then run off. We tried to help her with the options and things, but this last time, she said that, you know, all she's worried about is the water. And that's the only thing that we could do to help with the water, because that's,
Sure.
and I know they're talking about that with the street, but I mean, it's still, I don't know what else,
Sure.
that you can do. I mean, regular rains, I don't think it bothers anything, it's just the big rains that we have.
Sure.
But the last big rain we had down through there, everything, that ditch was catching the water, that was coming out, going through the pipe and not going towards your house.
Yeah.
But anything on the south side of the ditch will still go to her house, because there's nothing there to catch it or block it or anything.
Right.
Buddy, have you gotten with the engineering or engineers to see if there's any fix there? Or their recommendations for?
No, I mean, I was I mean, I guess you could probably mill the street down almost down to nothing and come back to, I mean, if she's still worried about anything in the street coming over, but that's still not gonna solve her problem with the water, the rainwater on the other side of the ditch. I mean, we can put that back, but she's still gonna get water to her house.
There is no drainage ditch in that house to the east.
No, it's completely covered. They're, because see what that is, they made a outside the gate parking, which that's been like it as long as I can remember. So back when, I think it was, Bill Briggs was still here, and I guess he told him, as long as you don't block water, there's not a problem. So, but they made an outside parking down through there, but as you come on down, there's still kind of a little swell down there where some of the ditch used to be. But like I said, we just finished up, come on across with it, so anything that comes off the road into that ditch, it goes through that pipe and goes all the way down.
To the west.
Yeah, it goes back towards the west, so I don't know what else. I mean, I know she's wanting, parking area, which, I mean, there's nothing wrong with parking in that alley. It's just, that it was just a weird coincidence that day that when she had company over, that utilities had to get back here.
Gotcha.
But other than that, I don't really know what else to, cause you can mill the road down, but that's not gonna solve the problem
Sure.
for parking,
Sure.
so.
So Mayor, I know that you had a chance to talk. I didn't know if you had something to add to the discussion right there.
Yeah, a little bit. So I talked to her after this all came to be. And I did confirm that, you know, her request to Buddy was what we did. She asked for the water to be dealt with, so Buddy put a ditch in there. He did a good job. Perfect? No, but not imperfect in a matter that it matters. You know, there was a complaint that the whistle was a couple degrees off center or whatever. Water's still going downhill. But I did tell her that, you know, she has to make up her mind. She does. And if she wants the yard back, we'll put the yard back. but she didn't get anything else from us ever again. I mean, in terms of that. The idea is, it cost us money to dig that ditch and put that whistle in. It
Right.
did not cost her money.
Right,
So, you know, she wants the on-street parking is what she wants. So, sometimes time lets things settle a little bit. That's kind of the intent right now, is let's just kind of give it some time.
okay,
Now, the assessment is, when you're standing in the middle of the street, the middle of the street is higher than the doorknob on her front door.
wow,
And it does slope and curve in every way that does not benefit her. Some of that settling the house made it worse, but the idea is, I think ditch or no ditch, like Buddy said, that driveway, till you put a drain on it, a drain that'll allow it to perforate that drive, you're not gonna stop her problem. So, you know, at this, she's got some time to think about what she really wants as her final move, and then we're moving on, so,
so it's in her court at this point to get back with you, gotcha,
totally.
super,
And she knows that?
Yep, told her, we're gonna just kinda, she's gotta think about it, she's gotta come back and let us know what she wants. Now immediately she jumped on it, said, I want my yard back. I said, well, let's take some time and let's think about this. So, again, let's give her some good time to think about the repercussions of us filling that back in. It's gonna cause her more problems than she's got now, so. It's kinda where it's at, we just
okay,
give it a little time.
all right,
Well, and it's not something like we have, this, if we put it back, this will be the fourth time that we've done something.
right,
And the
Put it in and take it out, now we put it back in, so we take this out, and I mean, that'll be the fourth time that we've.
sure,
And it's never gonna drain good
Right.
once we put it back.
Right.
I mean, that's the bottom line.
okay,
So will someone from the city, either her council members, since the mayor's gonna be gone out of town for the next week, would they please get with her and let her know what's going on with it?
sure. Can do,
And if you want, you know, either Bobby or I to go down there with you, but I don't know if that'll cause any more stir up or whatever. but,
sure,
I mean, I'll be there, you know, try to answer any questions that may come up.
sure,
But, I mean, I just, and honest and truly, I just don't know what else to do. I don't know.
Well, why don't you go talk to her, you or Mr. Nance go talk to her, just casual conversation,
sure,
you know, remind her that as for me, the ball's in her court,
right,
but once that ball is dropped, it's done.
gotcha, right,
Done.
done, right.
Mayor, you had told me that you were gonna get with Dale.
I've talked to Dale about that situation on the street, his schedule, my schedule, and that project have not aligned yet, so he's aware, and he said if he had some time, when he was in town, he'd drive by there and look, but to sit down and have a full-on discussion, that's not happened.
Sure.
I mean, it's not, it hasn't aligned for that to take place,
Sure.
so.
I
Okay.
realize that, the street may have been overlaid so much as it is higher, like Buddy said, and it blows toward it, but if you milled it down, her house is still sunk. There's a hole in the front yard, a dip, and if it rains hard, it's gonna get wet. I don't know what you're gonna do about it. But he's got a pipe, he's got a ditch, I don't know what else to do. This engineer comes up with something.
Does the water mainly run down her driveway and into her garage?
Well.
Is that where the water,
Yeah, it was doing it before because, I mean, there's still gravel. We put kind of little humps right into there, a little bit extra gravel. So when the water comes up, it'll kind of bump against that and go on down. Because, yeah, you get plumb full right there where the driveway is, yeah, it's still gonna run over. But the ditch and stuff, anything on the road or anything east of it comes down, it's gonna catch that pipe and go through. And that's what, I mean, it was working good this last big rain that we had. We went down there and looked, of course, didn't take a picture, no video, I didn't think nothing about it, but we just drove and stopped and watched it, and everything was coming down the road. Everything on the crown on the north side was staying over there and coming down, and anything over on the south side, it was coming down the road, and anything was coming over the ditch, and it was going down. I mean,
Sure.
Working as it should.
Sure, okay,
and it was not getting in her garage?
I mean, just by what was falling in her yard, And most of the time, it's not, it has, I'm gonna say probably pretty good rain, but, I mean, she said she doesn't use her garage anymore. But like I said, we put, I don't know, 8 or 10 of those, sandbags up through there, and that, usually sandbag blocks it. And there for a long time, we never heard anything. And just all of a sudden, that one day she had visitors come over and they was asked to move their vehicle, and she called and she was upset because she had to tell her visitors to move their vehicle. So,
So I would also just throw this out there, and I'll talk loud enough so the mic picks it up, is that throughout town, this is an issue.
Sure.
You know, a lot of these older homes were put in and they weren't engineered. I know on Irving, the first, well, on the, what would you say, probably the first 8 houses there on Irving have the same situation where the house wasn't given a topography study or anything. And they did it flat, and the weight of the house and the work and the life over the last 40 years. I get calls from them every now and then, hey, what can we do? There's no ditch, there's no this. Well, if I give you a ditch, all it's gonna do is make a pond for you. We have to ditch the whole street, get that water moving. And so part of this is just a situation that was created by old,
Right.
I'm gonna say it not to be offensive, but old haphazard building. And so, yeah, it's a problem Pryor's got.
Yep.
so when it was built, they built flat on the ground. Whatever 2-6 they used, it's flat. I mean, you can go down and then, like I said, over the years, when they was gravel roads, yeah, the roads was pretty well level or whatever it is, but then when they come in, and when you build a road, you've gotta build the road up out of the water, cause if you don't, that causes a flooding hazard. So
Sure.
that's why there's ditches and everything. Pryor sits flat, you know, and anybody don't believe me, I can take them out and show them. We can go out and shoot grade and show you that probably 80, well, I don't think 80%, but
Majority.
yeah, I mean, it's flat. There's no,
Yep.
get over off of Whitaker Street, south before, or north before it hits Fifth Street. It's completely flat in there. We've tried to go through and address all the driveways there on the east side of Whitaker, there on 400 block, and it's flat. There's nothing there. It's just, the only way you're gonna fix it is maybe, you know, put underground drainage or something in
Sure.
there.
Sure.
That's the problem that we run into, is just, it is so flat that it's hard to get any water to go. But usually when it rains, you give it 2.5 hours, 3 hours maybe. Yeah, and it goes on down. It's
Sure.
just, it backs up for a while, but then eventually, it'll go down.
Sure.
It's not that big of a deal, but I mean, that's what we're running into, is just a lot of these houses that, they're just, yeah. Well, for instance, out by the softball field, just from Southwest First Street out to the boys' baseball field, you know, that last field out there before it turns into trees.
Mm-hmm.
There's 15 inches of fall in there. But if you shoot it and try to clean that out, for every 25 feet, you've got 3/16 of an inch.
Wow.
That's all that and if you go deeper than that, then you got a little hole. So, you know, you can imagine trying to dip that and keep that up. But that's just an example on how some of these driveways are. They may have a little fall, but they're
Just the way it is.
yeah.
Based on what we talked about at the last council meeting about the Salt Creek Basin thing, plan and phase, blah, blah, blah. What's updates since then? Anything to update on that? What's Dale doing, or it's going out for bid? Okay.
Yep.
The far side, what potentially will eventually become Laramore's property, they're just waiting on paperwork.
Okay. Which do you think will be done first, that or the cleaning of the trees out just off of Elliott?
Nunley's will probably move first.
Okay.
It's good to go, everything, we have the easements, we're good to go.
Okay. Thank you.
Any unforeseen business need to be brought up?
We'll talk about it, ladies.
Ooh, there you go.
See, almost time to go home, so let's
Okay. Well, do I have a motion to adjourn?
So move.
Okay. Second, okay. Any discussion? None? Call for a vote?
Smith,
Yes.
Miller,
Yes,
Lamar.
Yes.
we're adjourned.